It pains the Metropolitan Police Department to inform our community this evening that we are on the scene of a double murder-suicide involving members of the same family. The deceased individuals are Rachel Andrews, age 97, Barbara Andrews, who is age 68, and Gail Andrews Miller, age 65. This is what the police department has determined thus far. At 2:05 this afternoon, a 911 call was placed by Rachel Andrews. There was not a lot of conversation with the 911 operator, but the operator did overhear Rachel Andrews saying, quote, "Please don't kill me." Another woman was heard by the 911 operator saying, "I have to hang the phone up. Mama, hang the phone up." Our investigation is showing that Gail Andrews Miller drove to the residence shared by her mother Rachel and her sister Barbara from Gail's home on Sneed Road. Gail brought with her a 5-shot revolver. Gail walked to the rear of the home where a television room is located and opened fire on her mother and her sister. The 911 operator did not hear the gunshots. The phone was disconnected after that mama hang up the phone line. The call was dispatched as obviously an emergency call. The police officers were on the scene here within minutes. When they arrived, they saw Gail Andrews Miller at the front of the home. She appeared to still be showing signs of life. The officers requested an ambulance respond immediately. By the time the ambulance got here, Gail Andrews Miller was deceased. Barbara Andrews was deceased. However, Rachel Andrews, the 97-year-old mother, was still alive. She was rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where she died a short time ago. The motive for this remains under investigation. We have gone to the home of Gail Andrews Miller on Sneed Road, where a suicide note has been found in which Gail Andrews Miller asks for forgiveness for what she is doing. It appears that Gail Andrews Miller has had some type of medical issues in the past. She felt like she was about to be or was in declining health, and for whatever reason drove over here to where her mother and sister live with a gun that she had it from her home on Sneed Road and opened fire. Now, we know from Gail Andrews Miller's husband that he arrived home and saw her leaving the residence, pulling out of the driveway. He obviously didn't know where she was going. As we have read the note instructs him to please call a family friend and ask that friend to come to the mother's residence on this street. Obviously, it appears that Gail Andrews Miller wanted the friend to discover the deceased individuals in the residence. Actually, it was a police officer, a first responding police officer, who discovered the one woman mortally wounded at the entrance of the home, and then the other two women at the rear. It's a tragedy. This is a horrible, on the eve of Thanksgiving, it's a horrible situation to be in for the 911 dispatcher who had to take the call, for the police officers who have had to come and rush emergency medical aid to the victims, to the detectives who will now be here for the next many hours investigating this, and then, of course, the family, both the Miller family and the Andrews families are met with the most tragic of situations on the eve before Thanksgiving. That's what I've got. Any questions?
Did her husband call police before that 911 call came through? If he
No.
saw that note at home?
He saw and I don't believe that he is in excellent health himself. I think that he saw his wife leaving, not knowing where she was going, and a very short time thereafter, this 911 call was received, again at 5 minutes past 2, from the 97-year-old victim. And again, there was not a lot of conversation between the operator and the victim, but the operator was overhearing the 97-year-old essentially begging for her life, saying, "Please don't kill me," and then overheard another woman saying, "Mama, hang up the phone. I have to." Again, whatever was going on in this family, we don't know the full specifics. We don't know if there was animosity between the sisters or what exactly was going on between these three individuals. And we may never know what was in the mind of Ms. Miller. But it's a tragedy for everyone involved in this situation here on this street and the family members involved as well.
You talked about Gail Miller and her declining health. Are you able to say if that was declining mental health, or do we know?
No, I believe it was physical health.
It seems like an especially quiet community of older people. Can you remember anything like this happening here before?
Not in this neighborhood, no.
I know some neighbors have said that there have been some family issues that they've brought up. Have police responded to this house before for any incidents?
I haven't done the background on the house, not that I'm aware of.
And can you say who was it Gail who was at the front of the house?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Appears to be a self-inflicted.
Yes. All of the victims have gunshot wounds to their chests. And the gun was found when the first officer got here. Gail Andrews Miller was down at the front of the home. The gun was at her feet, there with her. The other two victims, Rachel Andrews and Barbara Andrews, were found in a television room in seated positions, in chairs, if you will, in the television room. Obviously, we don't know at this moment who was shot first. From the dialogue back and forth overheard by the 911 operator, it does appear that it was Rachel and Gail who were in that conversation.
Just to make sure I understand, was Gail, when police found her, was she outside of the home or just inside?
No, just inside the residence. The officer saw that she appeared to have signs of life. Obviously, the officer got here very quickly, a very short time after she shot herself. And she still showed signs of life. The officer is calling for emergency medical assistance and not knowing, obviously, what has taken place in other parts of the home. Then he found the other two women. The other sister was deceased. The mother, the 97-year-old, was still alive and was rushed to Vanderbilt, where she succumbed to her gunshot wounds.
Did she say anything?
Did who say anything?
Rachel, the woman who was taken to the hospital.
To the officer? I don't know that. I don't know that.
What gun was used?
It was a 5-shot revolver, the holster of which is back at the residence on Sneed Road. It was, the gun came from the Miller residence on Sneed Road.
And Barbara and Rachel live with each other here?
Yes, yes. Mother Rachel and daughter Barbara lived here at this residence, yes. Okay?
Were all 5 shots used, or were they being left in the gun?
We'll be examining the firearm. Obviously, multiple shots were fired, and that all 3 victims have gunshot wounds.
Okay, I didn't know if they were shot once or multiple. So.
Okay, and can you get
gunshot wounds to their chests, as I said. All right.
Just really quickly, so Gail, obviously the self-inflicted gunshot wound was to her chest.
Correct.
Okay, and can you give us the spelling of her name?
Rachel as far as I know, is the common spelling, Rachel. Andrews, common spelling. Barbara Andrews, Barbara, Barbara, common spelling, as far as I know. And Gail Andrews Miller is Gail Andrews Miller, Miller. Again, Rachel, age 97, Barbara, age 68, Gail, age 65.